What happens when a rocking chair, an old truck, and a film challenge that requires you to shoot on a phone all collide? The result is my latest short film, The Throne. Today, I'm excited to give you a behind-the-scenes look at what it took to make the film from start to finish. From broken cameras to a stampede of cows, it was an adventure like no other. The creation of this film was sparked by a summer film challenge that my film school puts on every year, which I've actually participated in before back in 2023 with my winning film, The Sound of Silence. The theme then was magical nature, but this year, the theme they gave us was a single, simple object, a rocking chair. And as soon as I heard that, the gears started turning in my head. I had plans to be in Colorado visiting my friend Ian during the time frame of the challenge, surrounded by some incredible landscapes, so I began to think of an epic story to make it into a film fit for the challenge. The concept I arrived at was simple. The story would follow a man inspired to obtain a better view, take a wild ride up to the mountains with his trusty rocking chair in tow. Ian's family has quite the collection of vehicles, so it was the perfect opportunity to bring the idea to life. But before we could make that happen, we had to find a rocking chair. Thankfully, Ian is a legendary scavenger of Facebook Marketplace and was able to find us a classic looking rocking chair not too far away for a fantastic price that we couldn't pass up.
All right, Ian, what we got going on here?
We are loading up our rocking chair for an adventure.
All the pieces were beginning to fall into place. But the big catch with this challenge is that the film had to be shot entirely on a phone. I was excited about this because a few months prior I had gotten a new phone, specifically the iPhone 16 Pro, which has some pretty awesome tools for filmmakers. The only problem? On my way to Colorado, the phone completely died and would not turn back on. It was a huge setback because we really needed a phone to shoot with and had limited time to figure out a solution. Our best option was to travel to the nearest Apple store, which ended up being a 100-mile round-trip journey. And even then, there wasn't a guarantee that my phone would be fixed. Thankfully, it did end up being a successful endeavor, and we were finally ready to start filming. But it came at the cost of losing 2 days that could have been used to film, so our time was very limited. That next day, we started work on the film, beginning with the first scene, with Ian playing the role of the main character who steps out onto his porch to take in the view from his rocking chair.
All right, so last night I was actually finally able to get my iPhone fixed, so now I can actually do the short film challenge that my film school put out. So I'm out here with Ian, and we're filming the rocking chair opening sequence. Got the iPhone 16 Pro with the tilt Chronos case. My friend Ryan recommended this to me, and it's really sick. I've got a small rig ND filter on there, getting me some nice motion blur, and then I'm recording externally with this very sloppily put together rig onto my Samsung T5, because that's the only drive I have that's formatted for exFAT, and it can record to that, because this only has 128 gigs, which is not enough. But yeah, we got Apple log is actually pretty good. It's got 10-bit 422 color, so it's pretty nice, and we're in an excellent location with a great view, so it's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully I don't break the phone.
Thanks to the multiple lens options provided by the iPhone 16 Pro, I was able to capture all the angles I needed, including a wide, medium, over the shoulder, and close-up. This gave me the most flexibility possible for when I went to edit, which was very helpful.
Okay, so we finished the opening scene in the back porch, and the next part of the film is where Ian drives up Pikes Peak with the rocking chair in the back of the vehicle. Now originally we were thinking to do his truck over there, but then I saw this guy over here and was pretty impressed. But the tires are slightly worn, so it might not be good to take up. But we also have this Bronco here at our disposal that might work even cooler, because it's got this little tire on the back. I just love the vibe of these old Fords.
Each vehicle had its benefits. The classic F100 was fully restored and was by far the most beautiful car of the bunch. But we had some concerns as to whether or not it would work with our initial plans of taking it up Pikes Peak, so the Bronco was our next best option. But there wasn't as much space in the trunk, and the open top roof posed some potential problems if less than ideal weather came our way, which, spoiler alert, it did. The last resort would be the Dodge, which we know could get the job done, but wasn't as appealing as the other two. We really wanted to go with the F100, but wanted to hear from Ian's brother as to what he thought about the practicality of it. The only issue with that was that he was out in the wilderness with not much cell coverage, so we decided to go with our next best option, which was the Bronco.
Can I go now?
We got our first shots of Ian opening the garage door and loading the rocking chair into the vehicle. Our time to film for that day was coming to a close as we had somewhere to be that evening. So we wrapped up after a few shots and planned to continue the next day to finish off with what was needed.
All right, so it is the next day and we are back to filming, and we've got this interesting suction cup contraption here that I normally use for my GoPro, but because I have to use the phone for this film, that's what we've got going on here. We're basically, the last shot we did was opening the garage, and then Ian put the chair in the back of the Bronco. And next we're gonna basically just get shots of hooking it in, strapping it down, and then we're gonna get him in here, putting on his sunglasses, stepping on the gas, releasing the clutch, and then tearing out. So it'll be pretty fun, and it's a beautiful day. We have pretty similar lighting, so we work with what we got when it comes to continuity. And action.
We picked up where we left off, continuing to film the sequence. But as with any film, things change on the fly. And for us, that was two things. We decided first that driving up Pikes Peak would end up being a nightmare, given that it was the weekend of the 4th of July. So we changed plans and decided to head up an adjacent mountain road with incredible overlooks. And that's when we eventually found out that Ian's brother's F100 was available and would work great for the new plan. We made a last-minute decision to switch vehicles, and it was absolutely the right call. It was a perfect fit for the adventurous journey we were trying to capture.
All right, so we made a change of plans. We are officially retiring the Bronco from this video, even though we got pretty far along with it. We're gonna switch to the truck, because we actually found out it's gonna be good to use.
The only issue at this point was that we were beginning to run out of time, as this was our last day available to finish filming, and we had to redo all the shots we had previously captured with the Bronco. Thankfully, because we already had the practice with that vehicle, we knew exactly what was needed to make it go smoothly, and we caught up to where we were before in pretty much no time.
All right, so we got the Ford all set up. We just did our opening shot, and now we're doing another detail shot of putting the chair in here. We've got Ian's dad with the fishing line, making sure our flag stays going because the wind changed directions. So it's coming together pretty well.
Now that we were caught up, it was time for the fun part, tearing out.
Glasses.
The shots I captured of the truck tearing out are some of the favorite I've ever captured. In that same sequence, I got a shot of Ian passing by on the adjacent road with the iPhone's 120mm telephoto lens, which, when combined with the ND filter for motion blur, looked absolutely stunning. With everything rolling along smoothly, we began the trek up the mountain, stopping to film as we went. One of the best things about filming out in Colorado is that you get these beautiful, unpredicted moments that you just cannot plan for.
So we're up here continuing the film, and there's just a bunch of cows on the road.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they're doing, but we had the drone up and they just kind of showed up. Oh, here we go. What are you doing?
It was crazy, but it made for a great story and some pretty unique footage. section of our adventure was where I broke out the suction cup mount and risked it all to put my phone on the outside of the vehicle for different angles. It was a bumpy ride, but that enhanced the raw feeling of adventure in the final shots. We kept pushing on, getting all the shots we needed. My goal was to get as much coverage as possible at all the focal lengths I could. There's really so much versatility to using this camera system if leveraged properly, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. The final scene was the most important. We wanted to get the perfect sunset sequence, with Ian pulling up to the overlook and setting down the rocking chair with golden light all around. Without it, we wouldn't really have a solid conclusion to the film. And as we got closer and closer to the overlook we were planning to use, the sky began to look rather foreboding. The sun was going down, and we knew we had to pivot and capture the moment as it was. To our surprise, we were blessed with a beautiful rainbow in the background as Ian drove up to the overlook. I genuinely don't think it could have gone more perfectly. It was absolutely beautiful. After we got that shot, we had to move quickly because the storm was about to be upon us. We began filming the rest of the sequence, but as the rain fell, it became pretty hard to do. Water was hitting the phone, which caused the touchscreen to start to glitch, messing with autofocus and exposure settings. It was a beautiful scene as the sun was shining through as the rain came down, but it was very, very stressful. Thankfully, we managed to get all the shots we needed just before the total downpour began. And then that was a wrap on the filming.
Oh no! Oh my, we're soaked! We're soaked! Oh no! Oh my gosh! Oh dude! Oh no! Soaked from head to toe. That's pretty sweet, and we kind of got soaked, but a little bit. It's all good. We got the shots. We finished the film.
Looking back on the whole experience, it was a crazy yet rewarding adventure. It was a great reminder that filmmaking is all about collaboration, adapting to what's in front of you, and just having fun. This film genuinely was a beautiful example of what it means to trust the process, but also to trust God with the results. I had no control over the weather, and I had no idea whether or not my phone would actually work. But it all came together. It was a great time, and it was nothing short of an answered prayer. The story doesn't stop here with the filming process. If you're wanting to learn more about the post-production process, I highly recommend checking out the counterpart to this video, which will be linked in the cards and end screen that will be published on my second channel, Resolved by Rocco. And there, I will break down the editing process of the film and all that went into taking it from a bunch of unsorted clips to the result that you can see now. A huge thank you goes to my friend Ian for his help, and also to his family for letting us use their amazing property and vehicles. And of course, a big shout out to Liberty University for putting on this film challenge. If you enjoyed this video, you know what buttons to click. My name is Rocco Germani, Jesus loves you, and I will see you in the next one.
This is kind of awkward, isn't it? There's just me and you. And I don't know what to say. And I'm sitting in a rocking chair in the back of a 1970s Ford F-100. What is happening?